Okay, so one more thought on judgment today, and I want to tell you about a thing. This thing that I have, I'm holding it in my hands. It has a silver color. It weighs more than my pen, but less than a book. It feels cool to the touch, and I can hold it in one hand. Now, if I show it to you, your instinct is to say, that is a fork. Well, you're mistaken. It's actually a comb, or a back scratcher, or a paperweight. And your mind imposed the idea that it's a fork. And when it did that, you necessarily decrease the creativity that you have to use it in effective ways to do other things. So, I mean, how many times have you used something like this to pry, right? So, when we practice being non judgmental and we are using the describing skill, you describe it for the characteristics that it has, right? Now, some of them you have to be careful with. If you say it's heavy, well, not compared to the book or my car. And if you say it's light, well, it's like, well, not compared to my business card. So the comparison always creates a scenario where it can be more or less than something. Now, when I say it's lighter than my book, that is a fact. We can weigh it and it is empirically provable. But if I say something like it's light, well, that's kind of a subjective statement. And it actually makes it a little bit more difficult to communicate with folks. Because, so if we can already agree that most people would call this a fork, and most people would most likely go to use it to eat food initially. But there are other things that are much more difficult that we presume that we all know what they are, like certain words and describing emotions, perhaps. Right? Does everyone experience sadness in the same way? Or perhaps when you're sad, you actually express anger. So the ability to describe what you experience, I was tearful and I missed my friend, might be more useful than saying, I was pissed they were gone. Right? What does that actually mean? So, slowing down and describing what we experience lets us really be sure if that is what we experienced.